It's been over a year. Why hasn't Twitter, X folded? Rupert Murdoch ran some of his newspapers at a significant loss. The rationale behind this approach is that these media assets provided him with significant political influence and power, which could be leveraged in ways that align with his other business interests and political views. Don't think that X needs to be a successful business to be a successful asset. My current job is to lower the risk of breaking things when we release code at my company. Software that's been running in production for a while will have bugs, but the rate will be low. The issue is trying to change things. That's when you start needing lots of help and things become risky. By firing half the staff, what Musk has done is effectively lock Twitter into its current configuration while keeping an ability to make small changes. If they start making lots of changes, they'll either need to do it very slowly or they'll need to take lots of risks. When he first took over, Twitter had a lot of instability, particularly when they were changing how blue check marks work. Since then, their releases have notably slowed down. In the background, they've also all but disappeared from the boards of directors that set standards for internet protocols and web browsers. For better or worse, it is still the only open, social network of any meaningful size. Facebook is designed for engaging with connections or groups, and Instagram, TikTok are basically just an algorithm feed. Reddit fits the bill, but historically the market value of Reddit users is really low. There is a difference between still exists and profitable and growing. Large technology companies come and go over time. To persist, you need to stay relevant, which requires a lot of lines in the water for the future. Companies like Amazon make a ton of money, but because they reinvested so much back into growth, they weren't accumulating money, they were spending it on stuff. Twitter was a company with many lines in the water. If you are only focused on current operations, then these investments in the future would be viewed as waste. Yay! Money saved. Whoops! Some people don't want to advertise here anymore. Boo! As long as enough people continue to use Twitter, and enough companies are willing to advertise there, then the company will at least be able to pay the bills and not fold. And this will be the case until something else better comes along. Twitter may bleed to companies like Meta, with Threads, or some upstart with some new shiny object. At that time, Twitter will be screwed. Why? Because their investments are only into the existing model and existing approach. Their strategy to grow the business is only aligned with delivering more of the same thing in a slightly different way. With an owner that likes to disenfranchise a lot of people. TLDR. Musk streamlined an organization that wasn't necessarily bloated, but making investment in areas that focused on future bets. You can save that money to make up for lost revenue, but it's at the expense of future growth and increases the risk that you'll miss the next trend. Thus, the company can stay in business, but is less prepared for the future. I'm of the belief, after spending some time paying attention to threads and the posters in them, that a very non-insignificant number of accounts are bots. Probably even more now than there were before Elon took over. Twitter is being artificially propped up for social engineering efforts. Your tech-centric social media bubble said that out of emotions, not objective reality. Twitter was never going to collapse immediately after Elon's acquisition, because the real world doesn't actually operate the way Reddit thinks it does. Smug Redditors have been claiming it's gonna fall apart since day one, seemingly without considering that Elon Musk is one of the richest men on the planet and could literally keep it going forever if he wanted to. I don't think the other posters really addressed the question. I'm not an Elon fan and think he's destroyed the value of X. But no company should be able to lose 75% of its workforce in a few months and continue operating in any form. There really haven't been significant outages post-firing versus pre-firing. So at a minimum the tech staffing was bloated. A case can be made for how firing all of the editors, reviewers, etc. has made it an unregulated hellscape, and I think that's true. But again, saying X is worse after the staff cuts is clear. But is it as bad as an efficient company would be if you fired 75% of the staff? No. 2. All megacore are bloated and you can fire 50% of the people before noticing any changes. It's lost half its value in a year. And most of its advertisers are bottom-of-the-barrel scammers because site is riddled with bots and Nazis. It hasn't folded because it's being propped up by Tesla stock, which is itself a huge grift. Banks won't call in the loans unless absolutely necessary. As long as Musk can make the interest payments on the debt, the lights will stay on even though he's lighting cash on fire. Twitter is dead if compared to how it used to be pre-purchase. It is a cesspool of bots and blatant racism. If you look at any big tweet, most of the replies fall into a few groups. 1. Replies that have nothing to do with the original post. 2. Bottom-tier ads for garbage dropship products or celebs photoshopped into stupid anti-Trump shirts. 3. Blatant bot posts pushing pro-Trump propaganda. 4. Blue-checked idiots desperately trying to get Musk's attention by riding his nuts at all times. The site may be alive, but only in the same sense as a shoeless tweaker on the corner that is fully engrossed with having an all-out brawl with themselves. Twitter hasn't folded because Elon has deep pockets and the cash hasn't run out yet. Might be a different story in a year or two. Pre-Musk they were about break even, but they're bleeding cash now because advertisers have pulled out. Widely used. The only factor that matters. You advertisers can leave, but the users existed before the advertisers.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.